What's up, guys? We're going to be heading over to a pool that customers just bought. It's going to be a rental property for them. Pool is green and shouldn't take too long to get this one turned around, but we're going to do the filters, get the pool cleaned up, and then also they have an old salt system that they don't want anymore, so we're going to get that cut out and replaced. All right, let's go get this one done. All right, guys, this is the before of the pool, so we're going to use our shock and floc method to be able to get this cleaned out. I'm going to over chlorinate the pool with cal hypochlorine, and then we're going to add some flocculant after we balance the rest of the chemicals to get all that nastiness to fall to the bottom, and then we can vacuum it out. But first, we're going to remove the salt system. So I'm just going to cut away this insulation from the pipe so that I can expose the 2-inch plumbing, and then use my Sawzall to cut out the salt system. And then I'm just going to replace it with a straight piece of pipe, and then take the control panel for this off the wall and just get rid of it. For this plumbing, I'm using my heavy-duty gray glue for my plumbing here. Then I have two 2-inch couplings and a small piece of 2-inch pipe. Whenever I glue these, I'm usually doing the coupling and then the pipe, and I'll go back and forth if I need to get more glue on there. And then give it a good twist as you put it on to make sure that it's completely coating the entire pipe and coupling. Now I'm going to remove the filters. This is a DE filter, so I'm going to take these out, set them to the side, get them cleaned off. But when I'm using the shock and floc method, I do not want to leave the filters inside of the tank. I want to take those out and let the water just flow back to the pool without any filters. Once the pool turns off after 2 hours, all that stuff will fall to the bottom. On the top of this manifold, it has a nut that holds that manifold onto the rod, and it was completely rusted out, so I ended up having to break this off and then getting a new one when I put everything back together. For chemicals we're going to use today, I'm using shock, or cal hypo is what we use at our company. So we're going to get a good amount of that in the pool. The conditioner level was pretty much 0, so we're going to add some liquid conditioner. Since we don't have the filters in there, I'm not using the granular. I'm going to do liquid this time. And then we're going to use some algicide to kill the algae. And then finally some floc to be able to get all that dead algae to the bottom of the pool and vacuum it out. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and get the shock added. I'm using my primate pole with a steel brush, full steel brush, to be able to get as much abrasiveness as possible. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the shock all the way around the one side of the pool and then brush that in.
All right, now that the shock is brushed in, I'm going to add my muriatic acid to lower my pH and alkalinity. And I'm doing about 3 quarts. I'm just going to put it right here in front of this jet. So as I pour it, it's just going right in front of the jet and kind of pushing around the pool. Acid is heavier than water, so it's going to go ahead and go down to the bottom of the pool as I'm pouring it in. Next thing I'm going to add is the liquid conditioner. So I'm going to add the conditioner directly in front of a jet here. The key thing about this conditioner is a lot of it settles at the bottom. And so I'll pour everything out and I'll add some water back to the jug, shake it up, and then get the remaining bit of it out of there. Next, we have our algicide. So this is a silver algidine, and it uses silver to kill the algae. It's a little bit more expensive, but I was able to get a deal on it from our distributor. So this goes directly into the skimmer, and I'm going to be adding about 16 ounces, or about 12 ounces. So I'm going to do 8 ounces, and I'm going to do another 4 ounces, and then let that circulate into the skimmer. And lastly, I'm going to use the CV600 from Arinda. This is actually just an enzyme water cleaner, so it's just going to help with like clarity of the water. You don't have to add this to be able to get the pool clean, but it's a nice little additive. I'm only going to do about 6 ounces in the pool. It's concentrated, so you don't need a lot. And I'm just going to pour that out, and it's got little lines on the side of the bottle that you can actually see every 2 ounces that you add. Okay, last step is adding our floc. So for this pool, it's not a crazy amount of algae that looks like it's going to fall. So I'm going to do 1 bottle of the super floc. So this, as I add it, I know that it's going to be good whenever that blue water hits and it turns like brown in the water. That's it already activating with stuff in the water. So once the pool turns off in a couple of hours, all the stuff that's now dead is going to collect collect to itself, get heavy, and fall to the bottom. And then we'll come back the next day or possibly 2 days from now and give it plenty of time for it to fall to the bottom. And we'll vacuum up all the dead stuff off the bottom and then get the pool back to being clear. Now I'm setting the pool to turn off in 2 hours and not come back on, and then we'll come back and get the pool vacuumed. We're back for visit number 2. We're going to go ahead and get everything vacuumed up that's fallen to the bottom. You can see here the pool is nice and blue, and right now it's just got a layer of old dead algae that's in the bottom that we're going to get vacuumed up with our deck pump here. So I just turned this from an old pump into just a deck pump that I can carry in my truck. All I have to do is add a little bit of water to the pump basket, turn it on, and then this flows completely out of the pool and out into the yard. Now that the pool has been vacuumed, let's go ahead and check the chemical levels and get these balanced. Chlorine is good. pH, I'm going to add a little bit of acid. It's about a 7.8. I want it to be about a 7.6 or 7.4. So this is our pool brain system, so I can actually type in exactly what the readings are, be able to find the gallons of the pool because it has a measurement app, and then I can go from there to see what I need to add. So for here, I don't have the gallons calculated yet, so I'm going to go ahead and calculate the gallons up. How deep is the deepest end? How shallow is the shallowest end? And then the length and width of the pool.
Yeah, honestly, that's a merch. Yeah, that's merch. That is kind of fun. That's merch. Well, listen, brilliant and flagrant merch. Can you make it look like? Can you put him in his underwear?
And once I have the pool gallons in, it's now dosing my chemical levels. And then I can see I'm going to add a little bit of muriatic acid and some sodium bicarbonate to the pool, and that'll balance my levels. When I use sodium bicarbonate or baking soda, I always put it into a separate bucket and I will mix it completely in that bucket before I put it in the pool. If it's lumpy at all or clumped up at all, it is very difficult to get it to dissolve in the pool. It's much easier if I need to stir it up in a bucket outside of the pool and then dump it in. anytime you clean your DE filters or backwash them, you always have to add DE powder back to the skimmer to coat those filters back with this media. So it does take a larger scoop than my shock or any other powders because it's much lighter per pound or per scooper that you actually use. So this is a 3-pound scoop, and I'm gonna do just little by little as it starts pulling into the filter there. And each filter is going to tell you how much media it needs, how many pounds of media. So this is actually considered 1 pound. This scooper, even though it's a 3-pound scooper, it's considered about 1 pound of DE powder. At least that's the way that I go off of it to make sure that I'm adding plenty of DE to the filter each time, whether it's a full cleaning or just a backwash. And now that we've added the DE, everyone remember what the pool looked like when we started? Well, let's take a look. This is before. We did the treatment, did the filters, and back out. And now, here's the after.